Good afternoon. This is news around the world on Pensioners 106.7 FM, Agbarigo, Onirike, Ibadan. My name is Bilkis Ishola Taiwo, and first the top stories. NERC begins nationwide consultations ahead of April tariff increase. Jumbo Nasingbe returns as Togo president. Trump addresses rally in India with Prime Minister Modi. And in sports, Wilder absent at post-fight press conference after being taken to hospital following world title defeat. Now the news in full. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) has started nationwide consultations ahead of the April targets for the likely introduction of new electricity tariffs. According to a notice by the chairman of the NERC, Professor James Momo, the consultations will hold from February 25 to March 11 in 12 locations nationwide. He said the NERC has received extraordinary tariff review applications from the 11 electricity distribution companies, DISCOs, and the Transmission Company of Nigeria PLC, TCN. Momo stated that Eco Electricity DISCOs will hold consultations on February 25, Kaduna February 25, Abuja February 26, Ikeja February 26, and Ibadan February 28. Others are Bauchi February 28, Asaba March 2, Calabar March 2, Yola March 5, Owerri March 6, Kano March 9, and the Transmission Company of Nigeria March 11. The House of Representatives has summoned 4 ministers to appear before its House Committee on Public Accounts. The ministers are to supply answers to questions bordering on why agencies under them should not be sanctioned for the violation of extant laws on submission of audited accounts to the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. The House also placed the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, NIIA Lagos, Nigeria Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRI, the Nigeria Investment Promotion Council, NIPC, Radiographers Registration Board, Inter-Country Center for Oral Health, Root Crop Research Institute, Umudike Nigerian Natural Medicine Agency, and the Lake Chad Research Institute on their status inquiry. These agencies are to reappear before the House Committee with their immediate past management teams, the annual budgets, and their audited accounts covering the period under investigation. The minister summoned were Dr. Osagie Ehanire Health, Alhaji Sambo Nenono, Agriculture and Rural Development, Otumba Niyi Adebayo, Trade and Investments, and Senator Gbemisola Saraki, the Minister of State for Transport. This is news around the world on Pensioners 106.7 FM. Let's now talk some pension and labor stories around the world. The African Development Bank, AFDB, has openly endorsed the idea of African countries spending part of their pension funds on infrastructure development. President of the AFDB, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, while speaking with State House correspondents after meeting behind closed doors with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa, said, with the content's $1.8 trillion pension and sovereign wealth assets, it has no business going abroad to borrow to fund some projects. The AFDB chief, who noted that the country could tackle our infrastructure deficits by committing the pension funds that are idle on infrastructure, noted that the content had an infrastructure gap of $68 billion to $108 billion, which could be adequately addressed by utilizing the $1.8 trillion acute pension and sovereign wealth funds. He stressed that there was the need for African leaders to invest in infrastructure developments. The Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, while speaking at the National Economic Council (NEC) meeting, which he presided over recently, disclosed that the government had concluded plans to borrow 2 trillion naira for infrastructure development. The House of Representatives has launched investigations into the deductions from salaries to the pension fund administrators by firms, federal and state agencies. The House Committee on Pensions said it had received many petitions bordering on unremitted deductions and non-payment of pensions to retirees. Vice Chairman of the committee, Bamidele Salami, said they had scheduled an investigative hearing for March, while those accused had been summoned. Salami said they have received a lot of complaints from workers of their money being deducted by employers, both the public and private sectors. They have also received complaints against the PFAs of receiving the money and not investing it properly, not accounting for the money collected and invested, and not paying pensioners promptly, including the lump sum and the monthly pension they are supposed to receive. He said these issues will be looked at. Also, the details of all the investments that are being made by the PFAs and the pension fund custodians to be sure that the money is invested properly in places that will bring fair returns to the contributors and to ensure that they are giving accurate reports and accounts to the regulatory agencies. Organized Labour and the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) have agreed with the President Muhammadu Buhari for throwing his weight behind members of the National Assembly that they are not overpaid for the work they do. A statement they said was not only disappointing but also appalling, saying the president has overlooked the country's economic reality and the languish of Nigerians in poverty, while justifying the lawmakers' collegial pay. The president of the Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council Trade Union side, Abdul Rauf Adeniji in Abuja, said, Labour, not the legislature, created wealth for the nation, while NBA's National Publicity Secretary Kunle Edun said, legislators received unrealistic pay that was inconsistent with the state of the economy when the national minimum wage is 30,000 naira monthly. Buhari had, during the House of Representatives' launch of the Green Chambers magazine, a publication by the House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, said it was wrong for Nigerians to perceive the National Assembly as being highly overpaid for doing little. Nest, the United Kingdom, UK's largest pension fund, with 8.5 million members, has called on Barclays to present a clear and robust plan to phase out financing some fossil fuel companies as the bank faces growing pressure over its role in global warming. The UK state-backed retirement scheme said it will support a landmark climate change resolution that will go to a vote at Barclays' annual meeting in May. The proposal, filed by 11 shareholders with a combined £130 billion in assets, asks the bank to stop financing energy companies that are not aligned with the Paris Agreement to tackle global temperature rises. According to campaign group Rainforest Action Network, Barclays ranks as the world's 6th largest backer of fossil fuel and the largest financer of fossil fuel of any European bank, exceeding its peers by $27 billion. The resolution is also being backed by the Church of England Pension Board, which oversees the £2.8 billion retirement pots of Anglican clergy, and Eden Tree Investment Management, a sustainable assets manager. You still on to Pensioners 106.7 FM, Agbarigo. Now to other stories. Togo National Electoral Commission has declared Togo's President Faure Gnassingbe re-elected for a 4th term, extending his 15-year rule and a family dynasty that began when his father took power in 1967 coup. According to preliminary results from the commission, the incumbent leader took 72% of the vote share in the first round of the presidential election ahead of his closest rival and former Prime Minister Agboyemo Kojo with 18%. The final results are expected to be announced by the Supreme Court in coming days. If confirmed, the result gives Nasingbe 5 more years in power, a blow for opposition protesters who have taken to the streets in recent years, calling for him to step down. Nasingbe had led the country of 8 million people since taking over in 2005, following the death of his father, Nasingbe Eyadema, who ruled the country for 38 years. United States President Donald Trump has addressed a massive public rally in India with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his first official visit to the country. He was speaking at the Motera Stadium in Gujarat, Modi's home state. Trump's visits will focus on deepening ties between the world's two largest democracies, while the U.S. president said India will always hold a very special place in their hearts. He also commended Modi, saying, "Everybody loves him, but he is very tough," reiterating that he is not just the pride of Gujarat, but a living proof that with hard work, Indians can accomplish anything they desire. The event at Motera Stadium is being compared to the Howdy Modi event the two men held in Austin last year, which was attended by 50,000 people. Germany's conservatives are expected to unveil their new leadership as Angela Merkel's party puzzles over how to prepare for the veteran chancellor's departure next year. Pivoting up the challenge for the Christian Democratic Union (CDU) is an internal crisis over how it should position itself against the extremes of right and left that have reshaped the nation's political landscape. After announcing her resignation as CDU leader earlier this month, Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer is to reveal her plans around midday, one day after the party suffered its second worst results ever in a regional election, placing third in city-state Hamburg with just 11.5% of votes. Reportedly, leaders would likely put off the key question of who should lead the party as chancellor candidates in upcoming parliamentary elections planned at the latest for autumn 2021. You still want news around the world on Pensioners 106.7 FM. We'll be back with some entertainment and sports stories. Please stay tuned. You're welcome back, and now to entertainment scene. Popular Hollywood actor Kirk Douglas has reportedly handed over his entire £61 million fortune to charity, while his son Michael Douglas benefited nothing from his fortune. The renowned actor and father of actor Michael Douglas, who recently at the age of 103 was laid to rest 2 days later at the Westwood Memorial in Los Angeles. According to reports, Kirk left his entire $60 million fortune to charity and did not leave any money to his son Michael, who has his own net worth of about $3 million. The Spartacus actor reportedly shared his $61 million fortune by giving away $50 million to be distributed through the Douglas Foundation, which was funded by Kirk and his wife, Annie. Some of the beneficiaries that also benefited from Kirk's fortune include St. Lawrence University, where they fund a scholarship for minority and underprivileged students, Westwood Senior Temple, which houses the Kirk and Annie Douglas Childhood Center, Culver City's Kirk Douglas Theater, a dilapidated movie theater resorted as a live performance venue, and Children's Hospital, Los Angeles. Now to the world of sports. Deontay Wilder was absent at his post-fight press conference after being taken straight to the hospital after his world title defeat to Tyson Fury. Wilder suffered the first defeat of his professional career as Fury won the World Boxing Champion WBC heavyweight title after delivering a thrilling performance in Las Vegas. The now former champion was left bleeding from his lip and ear as Fury pummeled him for large portions of the fight, with Wilder's team throwing in the towel in the 7th round. According to Wilder's trainer, Jay Diaz, who filled in for him in front of the assembled media, said Wilder headed to a local hospital to receive stitches in his ear immediately after the match, hence the reason for his absence at his post-fight presser. Diaz further described the extent of the fight as grueling against a grueling fighter, saying Wilder's visit to the hospital will give him some time to enjoy his family and also rest up. Speaking immediately after the fight, Wilder protested his corner's decision to pull him out, even though he agreed that Fury was the best man and deserved to win. LeBron James recorded 29 points, 9 assists, and 8 boards, and Anthony Davis tallied 32 points and 13 rebounds as the Los Angeles Lakers weathered a career-high tying 41-point effort by Jason Tatum to beat the Boston Celtics 114-112 at Staples Center. The historic rivals went back and forth throughout the game, which went right down to the wire as the Celtics took a 110-108 lead when Jaylen Brown, who scored 20 points, knocked down a three-pointer. Missed shots on both ends set a final 37 seconds that took several minutes due to a handful of officiating reviews and a technical foul assessed to Celtic coach Brad Stevens. All 5 Boston starters scored in double figures, with Daniel Days adding 16 points and 9 rebounds, and Marcus Smart registering 14 points and 7 rebounds. Gordon Hayward scored 10 points, almost 8 fewer than his season average, and shot 0 of 5 from behind the 3-point line, while Hayward played with a triple-double, however, dishing a team-high 9 assists and pulling down 8 rebounds. To end the news around the world, here is a recap of the main stories. The Nigeria Electricity Commission, NERC, has begun a nationwide consultation ahead of tariff increase. Togo National Electoral Commission has declared President Faure Gnassingbe re-elected for a 4th term, extending his 15-year rule. United States President Donald Trump addressed a massive public rally in India on his first official visit to the country. And in the world of sport, it was brought to you that Deontay Wilder was absent at his post-fight press conference after being taken straight to hospital after his world title defeat to Tyson Fury. For any information, please reach us on these mobile numbers: 0802 2373 535 or 0812 1889 462. You can also visit us at the Pensioners House, Agbarigo, Onireke, Ibadan. The news editor is Omobolaji Akintola. On behalf of the production crew, my name is Bilkis Ishola Taiwo. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.